remember our parents never had this, and they would just leave office and the work at the workplace and come home really, because they just didn't have to carry any work back home. There were of course few exceptions, like maybe teachers or something like that who would want to correct some answer papers and things like that. But mostly it was work was separate and the home was separate. Now the next thing is why me talking on work from home. I don't have any PhD on work from home. Honestly, it's a practice that's been there. I had the fortune of working for IBM some years ago, and they had work from home as a policy. Okay, now we are talking about work from home, but some companies had work from home as a policy. And what I am going to do is actually going to talk about a few of the things that worked for me when I was a work from home employee, as an employee and as a manager. Some or none may work for you. I'm just trying to actually talk about what I have done and what my team or some of my colleagues have done. Each of us will have different ways of working, and it's okay as long as we are able to come to one particular method that works for us. Just a brief about the IBM policy of work from home. IBM policy mandated certain departments with some percentage. The intention was, of course, to reduce the workspace. Then, which means that any employee who's opted to work from home did not have a desk in the office. So, but he could still go whenever required, but he did not have a dedicated workstation in the office. There were some basic do's and don'ts. It was a global policy that IBM followed. And the best part was that they paid for employees working from home. So I was actually paid a little bit more, around 6,000 change every month, for not actually going to office and working from home. That was the thing. But they actually, after a few years, they had to stop, especially in India, because the managers and the employees were reluctant to take that option, because for some insecurity reasons or whatever the culture that we have, unfortunately the cost of managing the work from home policy became too expensive for IBM, and hence they had to stop it, and there was no more work from home. Policy was stopped, but you could still work from home because you didn't get money for working from home. So as I said, we'll start with the with two polls now. I'm requesting Srini to run those two polls, one after the other, requesting the audience to please answer. Srini, polls, please. Yeah. So this question is about what we used to do before the actually lockdown happened. How much time did we take to travel to the office? Is it less than an hour, more than an hour? Okay. Or how much time did we actually spend at the office? So please, requesting everybody to submit your polls. You need to be quick because we would want to quickly try and close this. Yes, Srini, we can close the poll now. I think they'll get used to it. Yeah. So as you can see, right, the majority of the people actually travel more than an hour, right? About 70%. And then of course, how much time were you at the office? Very few people were there in less than 6 hours, and majority of them are more than 8 hours. Now, most of it is zero now, right? We don't travel, it's zero. And of course, we spend 0 hours at the office. Srini, can you do the next poll as well? Thanks for participating. Please do in more numbers. I think few 5-10 more are needed to be participating. Okay, this is about in terms of how much of collaboration is what is being done. This is a poll is actually running, so please participate. How much of time were you spending with your team members, collaborative in meeting rooms, okay, in video conferences? That's the first question. And the second one was, how much time were you spending working alone? I mean, doing your own work. How much time was that? Yes, Srini, we can close. Okay, so as you can and see here in terms of the Collaboration is almost more than 50%, and of course, it is varying in terms of the amount of time that we would be spending alone as well. Okay, so now I will go through the this one. Yeah, Srini, you can close the poll. Yeah, okay. So next slide, Srinivas. Yeah, so work from home, let's be clear what it means for all of us, right? So what I've done is, as I said, trying to break them into six sections here in a more simpler manner. And I will cover only three of them with the paucity of time. So what do you mean by work should not mean work from home should not count work for home? I mean, you should not consider just the switching on the laptop, but you're in the kitchen helping out in the kitchen or playing with your kids or doing something else is certainly not to be considered as work from home. That's one. And then of course we have to keep in mind that we are still working for a company, for an organization. It's going to remain the same while we work from home, and also their goals will continue to remain the same as well. Just because you're working from home, you're not expected to work in a silo or invisibly. There is a team and a department that should not forget that you are part of a team that you need to contribute and be part of as well. Uh, Working is also for yourself. Don't forget that no one is looking, and hence I can do whatever I want. You can't let your guard down just because you're working from home, or relax. So you have to work for yourself as well. Now, working from home in this particular manner and for so long is unexpected. We didn't expect this. It wasn't planned, right? Whereas in IBM, when I told it was a policy and I knew what I needed to do, when I needed to do, and what was my expectation. But for most of us during this particular lockdown, it was just shut down with 1 day notice, right? And hence many of us are underprepared, and we are evolving. And what I am going to talk about in the next few slides is what I think. This is my views, and it did not agree, it did not work for you guys, but you need to develop in this particular manner. Work from home is both a boon and a bane. It's for some it is a pleasure, for some it is a pain as well. Next slide. Before I go through this slide, I would run again two more questions. Srini, if you can run the other two questions. Now, now we are working from home. Now we want to know how much time we are spending at home. How many hours are we working? Less than 4 hours, 4 to 8 hours, or more than 8 hours? So as you can see here, we are still continuing to work more than 8 hours. No change. What we were doing, which is not unexpected. In fact, we tend to work more when we are working from home because of the various. We don't have a shuttle to catch, or there is a pressure, time pressure when we are in the office to rush back home, traffic congestions and all of that. Since we are working from home, we tend to work a little bit more. There's a next last poll from my end. Srini, if you could run that. Now, this is about collaboration. I asked you about what you were doing before the lockdown. We want to know now, working from home, how much are you collaborating with your colleagues and how much are you working alone? It's the same question, but now as a work from home. Oh, this is interesting. As you can see, right? So our working alone has actually reduced because of the way that we are. I'm sure lot of calls, a lot of clarification, lot of calls from your manager or you as a manager calling more people. So this is really clearly showing that we have more clarifications, more calls, more meetings that are happening, and because of which we seem to be having 50% of time for working alone as well. Yeah, Srini, you can close the poll. I'm in the window. Okay. Now, what are the various sections? As I'll be taking only three of the six that I've talked about earlier. So these, what are the organization goals? You need to work from home, but continue to work for your organization goals. Please remember, organizations must survive, sustain, and succeed. So should all of us as well. So this is very important for the organization. Just because we are not at the office does not necessarily mean the organization must not survive. And we have to contribute to its success as well as much as possible. Now there is a way we need to change the way we will continue to deliver the same output, because the goals may not change much. This is a challenging time. Goals don't change. Maybe the targets, they may tell us, okay, a little bit later, maybe the timelines, and maybe the efforts might change, may need to be revised. This is a challenging time. Some organizations will have a better future, some will not. So keep in touch with your organization. Know your organization's future from within your organization's communications and from others as well, so that you're preparing yourself to support your organization, and also to see what best you can contribute for the organization's need as such. Then the organization's pain could get contagious in this particular period, and you need to protect yourself. Please note that companies can take a certain amount of stress and pain. They can't go beyond a certain limit, and after which they have to transfer, and which means that it will be transferred to all of the employees as well. And the last but one is that it's okay to miss the office, right? But don't become a devdas of by missing your office, right? So you're missing up dressing up properly, going to the office, chit chatting, gossiping, coffee shop, pretending to come home very tired. This is also something some of us do, right? Missing team lunches and outings, getting scolding from the managers, and as well as use scolding as a manager. These are some of the things that we will be missing, some of that. But as I said, don't become devdas. And then of course the last one is be ready to lead and also be led as well. This is also time to showcase your skills. Be a leader if you're a manager, but also be flexible to be led, as too many leaders at this stage is also not good for the organization. Next slide, Srini. And then this is the most important part of my actually work from home presentation, is that this is the most important part that you need to kept in mind during work from home. You are a part of a team, right? What you do as a team is the most important thing. Your team is now your family at the office. Now we are working from home with our families, but please note that your team is the family at your office, and you also need to look after them as well. So be visible, not just on video, but with your work as well. Collaboration, challenging but a must. I think in the poll that we saw, I think collaboration is happening, but we have to be sure that collaboration for productivity is what is going to happen, rather than having too many calls and too many chats around. So be part of the team. It is quite challenging, and you have to be collaborating with your colleagues on the projects, on certain goals that are there, maybe some processes, some deliverables, because you are part of a process. Somebody will do something, hand it over to, then you need to hand it over to somebody as well. Please ensure that the chain doesn't get broken. Be willing to take load, because of some reason at home for the other members of your team, you need to take, but also don't hesitate to seek help when you are having some personal problems at home as well. Then the next one is about discipline. Discipline is very important. Be on time for your meetings. Ensure that you meet all the deadlines. Ensure that you deliver all your outputs. Work from home should not be an excuse. I don't have this, I don't have that. Should not be an excuse for not being disciplined as well. Then, of course, communicate. Collaboration is all about communication. Please clarify, please authenticate what you said, just to ensure that they've understood what you spoke to them. And most importantly, document your work, document your discussions as well. And I would always recommend overcompensate, because we are not in the office and we can't see people whether they're nodding their heads, whether they have understood in the body language. So overcompensate if required to ensure that your communication is important. And trust is very important. There is a very high risk of losing trust because we are invisible. And invisibility is a temptation for us as well. Oh, it's okay if you don't deliver it on time. Doesn't matter. They can't catch me. I'm anyway at home. I can always use this excuse. Please do not do that, because there is a high probability of losing your trust. Losing trust is very easy, but building it back is not. So sometimes your character is actually very much visible during this time, and your character could be exposed as well if you lose your trust. Then pantry chat and gossip, that's what we miss at the office. It's okay. Call up your team members, your colleagues, your friends, and start doing those various coffee chats and gossiping and talking about the normal things that you have been doing earlier as well. Next slide, Srini. The last topic that I wanted to talk today was work for yourself, work from home, but for yourself as well. How to do that? It's very easy to lose focus when we are working from home. There's nobody to look around, nobody to monitor us. There is no punch in and there's no punch out. So because of that, my suggestion would be have a routine. Ensure that you have a plan and stick to it, mostly at least. Now the routine need not necessarily be the 8 to 5 part of a thing. It can be flexible. You can choose breaks as you wish. You can choose it can the routine can also include some family time. It can be out of the normal office hours. It's okay, but have a routine and try as much as sticking to it. And the routine should include, okay, what you will do today, what will be the deliverables as well. The other one is don't stop learning. You are gaining certain time. As I said, travel time we don't have, at least 1 hour to 2 hours and above we have that. Now allocate that particular time for your own learning. It can be anything that no, you missed out on reading, or anything to do with your professional learnings as well. If your organization is providing it, well and fine. Otherwise, Google Baba is anyway there. You can go and do that as well. And as I said, promote yourself. So be visible. Try to go more on video, saying that you're well there, and look neat and clean as well on video. Don't go shabby, but be visible. Uh, Try to go on video. But I also said you should be visible with your work. So ensure that what you have done is also seen by your manager and by your team and by your organizations. And always remember that we are all working from home, where we are with our families at our home, and it's very uh, expected of us that we behave ourselves on the video call. Because it has an impact. So try not to be shouting, try not to be irritating and all of that, because that will also pass on over the phone, and then it will impact the whole family as well. That if either I'm angry or I'm upset, could be a good bad impact on this one as well. Then be positive, and of course motivated. Avoid negative stuff, especially now the many lots of WhatsApp stuff is there about your organization, about the various other stuff that is happening in the world. Try and avoid the negative stuff as much as possible, and be positive and motivated in all your discussions with your team members, in the discussions at home. It's difficult, but I think we have to do that. Different types of motivations and being positive can be done. Somebody can be exercising, yoga, or just reading. So try and be keep yourself motivated all the time. And then of course we have to continue to be safe and healthy. Don't try to be COVID heroes or COVID idiots, as they're calling it now, and ensure that we still continue to follow the norms that are there. I'm sure the offices will open, but please note that with the coronavirus not there will be a different new normal, that we need to do for being safe and healthy as well. Please continue that practice there as well. Next slide, Srini. I'm wishing you all a safe and productive work from home. And as the current style goes, it is Namaste, right? As the coronavirus style is. If you have any questions, please keep it on chat. And now I hand it over. Now, still now, what I've done is I've talked about productive health. I think now the doctor is going to talk about the physical health while working from home. Over to you, Srini. You can take over. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, hello everyone. So, so this week we'll be talking about one specific. So, what are the challenges? So, as Wilson said, I've spoken about work ethics and hygiene. So, this my topic is how we can take care of our health and while working from home. So, these are the simple agenda of this my presentation. So, one is challenges how to while using work or laptops or monitors while working from home, and how settings is are ruining our lives. What are the associated health problems while sitting for a longer period of time? And what are the mistakes that people are doing while working from home? And then sitting and standing, which one is the best option? So people do ask me like, which one is the best option? So now people are shifting from standard setting to standing positions. Some simple hacks, ergonomic hacks, and simple solutions and preventive measures at various levels, and how you can transform your non-ergonomic products on workstations to an ergonomic one. Right? So let's get started. So just write it on the chat box. How many of you can resonate with this picture? So the way you sit, the way you use your laptops or even the smartphones, because most of the some people have online businesses on Amazon or other websites. So some people work on smartphones also, and many people are working from home on laptops, sitting on the couches, recliners, beanbags, sofa. Uh, many other things on the windows. So how many of you can resonate with this? Just type in the chat box. Okay, perfect, perfect. 1 second. Yeah. So, so you must have heard of sitting is the new smoking. Says sitting is the new disease, right? So sitting, because of sitting, the problem is if we are sitting, our human body are not designed for sitting, and more than half of our body are the legs, and we are and there's a reason to it, and we are not supposed to sit for a longer period of time. Earlier also we used to work, day in day out, physical activity outside, and people used to hunt, people used to farm, and then they do more of physical activity, more on their toes all the time, 24/7. So but now the things have changed, in terms of postures, in terms of our working habits, everything has changed. So that's why there's a problem which people are starting developing, all because of so one of the major factor is chairs, right, which is sitting. So our standard sitting time has been increased tremendously for the last, I guess, couple of years back, right? So so what happens when we sit? So the amount of stress, amount of strain comes to our on our lower back, which is 40% more than if we are standing in comparison to standing. So whenever we are sitting, so 40% more the stress will come to our back in comparison to standing. And if the person is sitting and then doing forward bending, like we generally text or doing working on the laptops, like hunching over, and then on the other side, if one person is standing on and then bending, the amount of strain still is the maximum the people who are sitting, right? So in any case, sitting will increase your pressure on your disc, So there are many associated problems with the sittings. Okay. So I am just launching one poll. Uh, Shini, can you please launch the poll?
Yes.
So so I want all of you to participate in this poll. Just let us know. Let me know how many hours in total you are sitting in a day. That includes uh, after getting up from the bed, let's say a small tiny small tiny work like tying of laces, sitting on the couches, sitting on dining table while working, while eating, having food, or working. I mean, working on your workstations. Everything includes sitting. Earlier also before the lockdown. Okay, perfect. So still how many? I mean, people are 36%. Okay, now I can see 38%, 36% people are sitting in a day more than 6 hours. Okay, more than 33%, 8 hours. Okay, more than 3% people are sitting more than 12 hours. So which is bad. So it means, so if you are working, on more often and sitting, if you are increasing your sitting hours in a day, the amount of that 40% on your lower back will increase, and then you will feel sometimes you will feel tenderness, sometimes you feel some stiffness in your lower back. Many of you have must have observed, when you get up from the bed, you feel your entire back is stiff, and as the day progresses, your back stiffness settles down. So this can be one reason. So this is one scenario. And on the other hand, uh, when you get up early in the when you get up from the bed, you don't have any problems, and as the day progresses, so you tend to have some stiffness, and then lower back pain. With the pain, I mean, sometimes people have pain in the legs also. So there's different scenarios, and there are different solutions for both the cases. I mean, when to apply hot packs and when to apply cold packs. So it's a hot topic nowadays when people ask, सर ये बड़ा confusion है. So which when to apply hot packs, and most of the people make a mistake. Like in fracture cases, also people take hot packs and all that. So if you have this question related to this, let me know. I'll just clarify after the session. So before the lockdown, people used to work in this. I mean, they get up from the bed, they tie up laces, they do certain kind of daily chores, dining table, then again travel time. So everything includes sitting. So that's why people, uh, the type of, I mean, the duration of sitting has been increased roughly. So the average. So I've done one survey. I mean, a few months back. So survey told me like more than 80% people are sitting for more than 13 hours. 13 hours in total. So which is very high, right? See, so most of the day we actually tend to sit. So these are the associated health risks while if you are sitting all the day. So starting from your dizziness, I mean, drowsy, if you feel sore necks, tenderness, shoulders, back, low, cardiovascular diseases, weak abdominals, and weak glutes. So one of the major factor is, so whenever you sit, the amount of blood flow reduces, the electrical muscle activity shuts down, right? And moreover, I mean, the most important part is, if your if your glutes are weak, if your glutes where you sit, if your glutes are weak, so then, and then your core is also weak, your abdominal muscles are weak, so then you tend to have slouch postures that tend to have your other associated problems with the back. So so I can talk about in this, which is all dangerous. It will take more time. So I need, so according to WHO, more than 80% people do certain kind of physical activity, and then, I mean, hardly do some kind of physical activity. So I need everyone to again participate in one of the poll, which is Shini, please launch the poll. I want everyone to participate in this because I need to understand how many of you do physical activity at least once in a week, twice in a week, or what type of physical activity which are I wanted to. So maybe pranayam, cardio, Zumba, yoga, strength training, or some people say ki like I'm fit, I don't want to do any kind of physical activity. So which is also good, right? So in any given case, your posture form has to be important. Form is important, no matter what how fit you are, but you have to take care of your postures in any given case. Because I've seen yoga trainers having slip disc. I've trained, treated gym trainers also have these problems. Okay, so many people are doing yoga, 37%, very good, and pranayam. So I strongly recommend start uh, doing pranayam nowadays because of no pollution, less pollution. You can start pranayam. I mean, you don't have to do all the pranayam at one go, but you can also start with anulom vilom. You can do any time. So don't have to wait for कि अभी 1 घंटा पहले खाना खाया तो और 1 घंटे बाद खाना नहीं खाया. So there is no excuse in that. So okay, and 3 people are saying I'm fit. Okay, perfect, which is good. Nowadays, difficult to see people, those who are fit. Okay, perfect. So now, so if you are doing less activity, the chances of cardiovascular disease will increase, right? So, so that means sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary means if you are sitting in one position for more than 1 hour, so that can be your watching TV, driving for 1 hour, or maybe uh, sitting on sitting on the couches and watching television, sitting on your chairs, ergonomic chairs, and doing certain kind of work. So that everything includes sedentary lifestyle. If you are in one position for more than 1 hour, so do physical activity. If you are physical activity, if you are active, doesn't mean if you are doing some kind of physical activity. It means your body should not be stationary. Your body has to your body should the blood flow keeps moving. So that's why I'm focused. I was focusing on the yoga or on the pranayam because as Baba Ramdev says कि अगर आप योगा करोगे योगा से सब होगा, right? So if you do yoga, most of the problem will resolve because uh, everything happens with the blood flow. So if you have less blood flow, you tend to have stress, tend to have fatigue, tend to have stiffness in your body. So this is a mota. I'm just telling you what are the benefits of doing pranayam, right? So let's suppose if you're doing if you're let's suppose if you're attending any kind of webinar, webinar, and you can still do anulom vilom like this also, right? So in this way, you are actually not wasting the time, and you are actually um, involving your health in during your working hours. So now I want everyone to participate in my next poll. I want you to tell me honestly how many of you are having any kind of problems in your body. You must please launch the poll, please. So maybe neck, back, shoulder, or maybe all of the above. I think more people will have lower back, which is the case, and next will be the neck because of the smartphones. Okay, now 10 people. As I said, 41% people are having back, and then 24% people are having neck. As I was okay. So in the next topic, we'll be discussing about might discuss about the smartphone and the neck, how people are having these problems and all that. And this topic is all only related to the sitting posture, sitting and working from home, and how sitting is bad. Okay. So now I want everyone to do one simple exercise. So what we do as a okay. So what we do as while we sit. So in on our laptops, on our in front of our smartphones, just observe your colleagues, observe your spouses, your kids, how their postures are becoming nowadays. Rounded shoulders, hunched forward head shoulders, forward head postures. So these are because of these bad habits where we tend to have improper postures during our day. So just closely observe how their postures are, right? So you will see many people are have rounded shoulders, hunched postures, forward neck. Because of that, you tend to reduce your lung capacity, total lung capacity, which is more than 20 to 30% approximately, if you breathe like this. So now do one simple exercises with me. Just sit like this, hunched, पूरा slouch करके बैठ जाओ, and just take a deep breath from your nose. Take a deep breath from your nose and breathe out from your mouth. Take a deep breath from your nose, blow out from your mouth. Do it 2 to 3 times. Closely observe how much air you can breathe in. Now on the other side, just sit straight, chest wide open. Just take a deep breath from your nose and then blow out from your mouth. Just do it 2 to 3 times. Now write it on the chat box. How many of you have feel the difference? Have you felt the difference from these two? Yes, because your lung compresses like this if you tend to have these you tend to have these postures, right? Okay. Okay. Beyond's coming. Okay. Let's ignore nowadays. So how many of you? So still you, I've been getting responses where people are getting these feeling the problems of the lung capacity. So you can easily treat your neck problem. You can easily treat your back to normal. Your lower back. अगर आपको neck pain भी है, अगर आपको back pain भी है, still you can go back to normal. But when you develop this posture, especially kids, especially your children, because they have started developing these problems, because I take a lot of sessions in schools and colleges where that's why because they tend to have smartphones on tablets, and they use these in these postures. So please educate this to your kids, to your children, because once they develop this, the chances of normal postures becomes, I mean, way too long. It will take years to get to the normal. Okay. So what are the mistakes which people are doing while working from home? When you have uh, when you are working on your sofa, when you don't have laptop stands, when you don't have proper cushions, other mistakes. So I generally say start reducing your sitting hours, because if more of the sitting, more of the problem. So start in create some innovative ideas while how to get up from the bed, how to get up from the chairs. You start increasing your standing hours. So what you can do is, while talking to phone, I mean, you can walk the talk, and you just walk while speaking over the call. Then you can take headphones while walking, while talking to the phone, answering the call. While thinking also, you can stand and then walk and think. So try to reduce your sitting hours and increase your standing hours. Other mistake is there's no designated works. One second. So there's some. I'll just remove these. Okay. So there is no designated workspace. So just write it in the chat box. How many of you are working on the desktops or on your workstation, proper workstation? How many of you are actually establishing a proper routine? Like as Mr. Wilson said, you should have one proper workstation, a designated space, and getting into your workstations. How many of you have proper workstations? Just write it on the chat box.
Or you can, all of you can raise, there's a raise hand button as
Raise
well.
hand
So
button, yeah.
you can click on the raise hand button so that we'll know how
Yeah.
many as well.
Okay. So let's stop this. So another is people are working, people are using laptops on their beds, on their couches, on their recliners. So I would strongly suggest have your designated workspace, workstations, so that just uh, make sure you have one space where you work and take your laptops over there. So you should not carry your laptop here and there and पूरे घर पे कभी आप couches पे बैठे हो कभी. Sometime it can be, but try not to make this habit. Okay. Now I want it's a self test. I want everyone to do this while you are actually doing this, attending this webinar. Okay. I want. So how many of you can stand up from the chair with one leg without holding the chair? Can you do that? So if you can, so then that it means you have a good strength, good balance. So I'm giving you another 10 seconds to do this. And I've actually done that a couple of times. I can do that. So I'm sure you all can do this exercise. It's a great exercise that can give you strength level key, like how strong you are, right? Okay, perfect. Now, so there's a homework for you guys. Okay, there's homework for you. I have, because of the less time, we can't do all of that self test and all that. So I want everyone to do this simple test. You have to stand how long you can stand. Can you stand for 10 seconds, eyes closed with one leg? So this is your homework. Next test would be, so can you stand while without touching your body, without touching the floor, from the floor and get up? So let's see how strong your glutes are, how strong your core are, and your core strength is, and how good your thigh strength is. So these are the two homeworks. I want you to do this and motivate others to do this exercise. So this is self test. So now tell me so we have talked about sitting, how sitting is bad and how sittings are affecting our health, and what are the associated health problems are because of sitting, and what can be the solution. Solution is standing, opposite. Okay. What is the solution is standing. So now that's why I said increase your standing hours. So that's why people are shifting to standing workstations, people are investing to standing workstations, and I strongly recommend everyone to switch to these ergonomic products. And you can also increase. So once this lockdown is over, start so there's a well Ergon is also doing a wonderful job in creating these standing workstations, tabletops and all that. So after this lockdown, just contact them and then they can give you the demo of this. Because always remember, in our life, right? In our life, more than 30% we spend on the chairs. On the chairs. If you calculate on an average, if you calculate 8 hours of sitting, 8 hours of sitting, and let's suppose 60 years, right? Let's talk about 40 years. 40 into 8. So if you calculate, your sitting hours is more than 30 years you are sitting on the chairs or anywhere, right? And next is where our most of our time spent is on our mattresses. where we sleep for more than approximately 8 hours. Some people sleep for 12 hours. Some people sleep for 6 hours also. So on an average, people are sleeping for 8 hours. So just imagine there are two areas: chairs and mattresses. And the irony is, people do not buy expensive chairs. People do not buy expensive mattresses, and this is because of our human tendency. Uh, we actually buy 1 lakh rupee ka phone, iPhone, or we tend to spend these many number of our hard-earned money on the smartphones, on our cars, expensive cars, which we hardly use in our day-to-time. Um, let's suppose if you have a 50 lakh rupees car, let's suppose if we have a BMW, so how long? I mean, 1 घंटा जाना, 1 घंटा वापस आना, right? That's it. On the other side, if you're sleeping, so people are like, I know one person, so he has spent a lot on the bed, but not on the mattress. Mattress बहुत सस्ता से ले लिया 20-25,000, but the bed was more than 1.5 lakhs, because bed दिखता है, mattress दिखता नहीं है. So please invest on yourself, on your health. Okay. So let's do a simple stretches. How many of you are interested of doing stretches? I want everyone to do these stretches, simple stretches with me. So can I have some show of hands? How many of you are interested of doing exercises, stretches? So let me just tell you, in Gurgaon, so there's a Kingdom of Dreams. So they run, I guess they run more than 5 shows in a day, I guess, on different auditoriums, and they spend more than 20-25 minutes on the stretches, because stretches is the only exercise, only part of regime where this can reduce your injury, this can reduce your any musculoskeletal problems. It can increase your flexibility, it can increase your blood flow. So just do this. So stretching is the most important exercise. So on every exercise, just a ground rule is, every stretch you should hold for 10 to 15 counts, 10 to 15 seconds, and you should repeat for minimum of 3 and maximum of 5 times at a time. So you can repeat for after every 1 to 2 hours while sitting. Okay. So let's start with this neck rotations, and then we'll switch to our lower back. So I want everyone to do this exercise. Just do shoulder rotations backwards like this. Most of you feel you will feel some clicking sounds on your behind your chair, behind your shoulder blades. You will feel some stiffness. You will feel some cracking sound. How many of you can feel some cracking sound? Okay. So now do this. Shoulder shrugs fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Now third one is like this. जैसे you must have seen what you call traffic police. So traffic police ऐसे रखते हैं, right? So what you have to do is just extend this hand like this. It has to be like this. Okay. Now extend his hand. Sorry, this is though I can't. I think you can't see me properly. So just extend this hand like this. Hand has to be like this. Try to push your both the. Imagine there is a you have ball, and imagine you are pushing the ball from your thumb, from your palm, like this. Just push it like this. Push, 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 push as hard as possible, as hard as possible. So there will be a time when after a few seconds you will feel some tenderness to your entire hand. You will feel some stiffness. So whenever you feel the stiffness, that is the time when you do this namaste and then tata bye bye to the pain. You'll feel there's a lot of stress which is going away from the body, right? Just do this. So it's a self stretch, self mobilization of the entire hand. Okay. So next exercise, next exercise will be like this. Hunching and then breathing exercise, right? Next exercise will be hold your hand, hold your head, right ear, bring your right ear to your right shoulders and hold it for again 10 to 15 counts like this. Repeat. Very important exercise which people are doing, which I don't recommend doing. Do not do this. So this will might increase your dizziness, vertigo. So because many people are, everybody is using these gadgets, and many people have developed these kind of problems. So whenever you do this exercise, out of 10, 8 out of 10 people will find this, they'll feel some dizziness after doing this, spinning the head. So please don't do this. So, okay, so let's take a stand against the sitting behaviors. So stop sitting for long period of time. Use these products which these well ergonomized have there in their inventory. So it's a sit and stand desk where. So I've so in some companies I motivate people to the HR people to educate and then to aware, make people aware. Like half of the day they can stand and half of the day they can sit. So some people individual on the individual level, people do, let's say, 1 hour sitting, 1 hour standing, 1 hour sitting, 1 hour standing. So before lunch they sit, after lunch they stand. So you can do like this also. You can take a screenshot of this screen. What are the benefits of taking this tabletop? It's a very sleek, very good product, lightweight and portable. I'm not endorsing this brand. I'm not endorsing this well ergon, but I'm endorsing this product which people should use nowadays. Okay, so even if you, I mean, during this lockdown, I mean, they can't deliver you, but do keep in touch with them. And before that, since till then you can use, raise your level, raise your laptop with your books stand while working sometimes. This way you can change. So this is another which I am recommending to many of the corporates, which are standing desk. So, so there are a couple of areas where these companies are installing these standing zones. Like you must have seen smoking zones. So many companies have started developing and installing these standing desks. Though these are expensive, but that's why they have started motivating and making them employees aware about these the standing benefits of standings. That's it. I'm done with this. Let's take some questions. I'll just stop the screen share. If you have some questions, let's do that. Yeah. Srinivas, do we have some questions?
Thank you, Deepankar. Thank you, Wilson. I think if you have to summarize, one is how do you increase our productivity and efficiency? How do you bring in more transparency? Work for home should not become work for home, right? So work from home should not become work for home. So basically, how do we collaborate? I know this 40-45 days, 99.99% of the global workforce is working from home. I also discussed with a couple of them the way they used to go for. I know most of them are busy with the meetings. So now we used to do a site walkthrough. Now we just engage with the team for the meetings. So now, how do we collaborate? I have formal and informal meetings. So I had one of the couple of professionals. They used to connect over Zoom or Skype or even any of the platform during the coffee time. They used to go for a coffee around 10:30. They used to connect over webinar like Zoom to connect with them, to have an informal conversation. So connect with them, connect and have that feel, basically have that feel. And again, work with your managers or peers. How can you increase your productivity? Now, most of the companies are redefining their work from home strategy and policy that it can be more of a performance based. How do we define the performance level? As Wilson rightly pointed out, it's about culture or the behavior. We need to start including them in part of our life. Now, this work from home is not going to be more option now. It's going to be more of that. Most of us are going to work from home basically. How can we build that culture? How can we embed that being more transparent? How can we increase the same efficiency or productivity? Now, in the poll, most of you said that you spend more than 2 hours commuting to office. About 70% or 80% of you spend more than 2 hours on road. That means that's the time you are going to save for yourself. How can you do upskill, reskill, focus on your development, professional development, or spend more time with the family, work-life balance, right? Engage more with your peers, leaders, have that. And when it comes to Deepankar also mentioned about how can you stay healthy and fit even when you're working from home. What are the basic things we need to follow? We also recommend not just working from home, even at offices, we always used to say that don't sit for longer duration at office. Every 90 minutes, just walk around, do small exercise, right? We need to increase the blood circulation. We need to move around, right? So these are the things, the basic tips. When you start implementing them, one is to stay healthy, stay fit. It's all about body, mind, and soul. So keep that, and it's going to be a new norm that we are going to work from home. Most of us, it's going to increase, right? Very hardly we might go to office and meet maybe once in a week, and we don't even know how long it's going to be. And most of the companies are saying that we'll have this as a policy that we're going to increase the work from home. So how can we stay productive? How can we stay efficient? In the same way, stay healthy. Ensure that you follow basic uh, practices which will help you to stay fit, stay productive. And it's again, how do we align? Being agile is what is going to be critical. And it's not going to be the end. It's a beginning of a new era of workplace management. It's going to be a new beginning. The way we are going to work, to function, how do we adapt and adjust? And how can we keep our workplace, like work from home, the workspace is going to be more adjustable to us rather than me adjusting to the workplace. How can that be adjustable to us? There are a lot of products which have been there. Let us find out which better suits for us. What is the best way to create our place? How can we be more productive? And use the basic things, basic exercises, right? And connect with people and stay safe, stay healthy. And this is going to be a new norm. We are going to adapt to this. I think the way we need to put across is that how we can be more productive, more efficient, and create the difference. That's going to be there. So I would like to thank Wilson and Deepankar, and also Wellergon for arranging. Most of people are going to
Basu
book
Wilson
this
here.
particular
There is one question that I got for doctor. Is that doctor? You are saying that standing is good, so, but
Yeah, I got.
standing for long hours is also unhealthy, isn't it? Is a question by one Mr. Parth.
Yeah, Mr. Path. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, very valid question. Thanks for asking this question. See, we need to create a balance between everything. So, excess of everything is bad. Just try to understand. So, if I tell you to drink, so on an average, we sleep for 8 hours. On an average, we drink water for let's say 2 to 3 liters, I guess. So if I tell, recommend, just start drinking water for 10 liters a day. So even water will give you a bad side effects on your body. Similarly, uh, standing alone won't solve the purpose. Sitting alone won't solve the purpose. So keep it a balance. So that's why these products has a mix and match. So standing and sitting and standing. So that's why these sit and stand will concept comes into the picture. So coming to your question, where this can hurt our knees. So in this way, so while standing, so one is you have to stand for one hour, and there is a proper posture to stand. There is a proper posture to sit. Like everybody knows we have to sit straight, but ideally it's not the case. So we have to sit like our back has to be little 110 degrees shifted. I mean back, reclined back. So as if whenever you're driving, you see your chairs are not 90 degrees. आपकी कोई भी कार किसी 90 degrees नहीं होती. Your car seat is always 110 degrees, right? Similarly, if you are actually sitting reclined, halka sa reclined, that's where the pressure on your lower back becomes less compared to sitting straight. So sitting straight 90 degree is a myth, right? So similarly, if there is a right posture of sitting as there is a right posture of standing. So stand on both the feet flat on the floor. You can use let's say you can use anti-fatigue mats to reduce pressure on your knees. You can do certain kind of movements while working, while standing. You can do certain kind of exercises and stretch while you have some certain kind of problems. There are some kind of, let's say, another suggestion I could say, I can think of right now is, do not wear I mean, tight shoes. Try to wear some comfortable shoes. Try to wear some comfortable clothes also, while even, because it will increase your comfort and increase your blood flow. So I hope I am clear. So there's a lot to answer in this question. It's a huge topic. So I think, Mr. Parth, I've you understood my answer, right?
Yes, doctor. I think if there are no questions, is there any other
I
questions?
think Wilson, there are I think 2 more questions. Srini, what are the questions?
Yeah, please let's close that quickly because I think we are anyway 5 minutes of the time already.
Yes, question is to the doctor, sir. Mr. Shivananda is asking, do we get problem of gastric issue if we sit and work for longer time?
Yes. We tend to sometimes, less chances, but sometimes, because so whenever we have some, so we so after dinner, after lunch, we tend to sit. So we always, our parents used to say, "Jab bhi aap khana khao, so just walk for a while and all that, just to reduce these gastric issues." So try not to drink caffeine or carbonated drinks. So it will increase your gastric issues. After lunch, just take a break for some time, so it will reduce your these gastric issues. Because of the gastric, you tend to have these lower back issues, but not the other way around. Because of the back pain, you can't have gastric issues, but because of the gastric, because of this gas, you might as well have these lower back issues. Drink lots and lots of hot water. Keep hydrating yourself.
Yes, sir. Mr. Shivananda has second question on the gastric as well. Does the gastric will lead to cough?
Sometimes depends on various factors.
Okay. Last question, sir. Mr. Santosh, doctor, please advise what is the best exercise for neck pain. I get neck pain frequently.
So bust exercise. So there are different exercises. More than 20 exercises are there, but as I rightly said, one size doesn't fit for all. So one exercise is also doesn't fit for all. So I need to understand the problem areas and how this is coming, when is coming, when is the problem, where the problem is. But simply saying, there are some exercises which are common to all. So which is, let's say, shoulder rotations, side stretch, right? You can do neck sideways. Okay. Next, you can do, like, you can pull your chest like this. Imagine there is a pen in between your shoulder blades, and pen should not fall. You have to grab that pen as if pen should not fall. Hold it for like this, because our neck muscles are till here. Till our shoulder blades, till our back of our half of our back controls this trapezius muscles, which actually attaches behind your ears. So sometimes we tend to have pain here, but the root cause of that pain, the trigger point of that pain, is way down to our back. So that's why. So if you do these kind of exercises, I might have some relief. So if you have some other queries, you can get in touch with me later offline also.
I think with the best interest of time, we can they can write back. Then maybe we'll respond to that. Thank you all, and we'll connect again. So if I have any queries, I think they'll send out an email with the details. You can respond to them. If anything specific to be addressed, doctor will anyway there to address them offline. Thank you all. Stay safe, stay well. I think we're going to fight this COVID-19 and stay safe. Let's look at what is the best way we can work, increase the productivity, efficiency, and stay healthy too. Thank you all.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.